An Untraveled Road by Neon Sangetsu, Chapter 27, Protect the Child, Interlude. And so winter was born, first of many, that one, and she still slips up and calls me big brother sometimes. Ow! Don't kick me, Neo. Fine, I'll get back to it. Where was I? Well, shortly after winter came into the world, things got real interesting. Torchwick, future, Protect the Child, Interlude. She's adorable. Oh, let me see. Can I hold her? Cute child. Hey, Naruto flung up an arm to ward off the crowding faces. Don't crowd, Winter. You'll make her cry. Willow hid a smile behind one hand. I don't think that's likely, dear. If she hasn't panicked now, she'll likely not going to. Apparently, the birth of a child was something of a momentous occasion thing in Remnant, Naruto found, and the birth of a new Schnee most of all. They had friends and family aplenty these days, and all of them wanted to see the little life he and Willow had brought into the world. Watson Pietro aside, all of Team Star had portrayed into their home just for the occasion, as had the Belladonnas and James. Even Ironwood was present to bear witness, and Miracle of Miracles, not needing him with endless questions for once, made him damn proud to be a dad again, and proper protective of his little girl. Penny poked her head over the sofa to peer at Winter. So this is what a baby looks like. Alma joined her. So small. Careful now, Watts chided. I'm sure you wouldn't like it if someone crowded around you in such a fashion. Quite right, Pietro seconded him. Give the good girl some space. On that, they agreed. Even at only a week old, Winter was a surprisingly stoic child. She stared curiously at the many strangers around her with wide eyes, yet made not a sound. Quietly curious. Those were the best words Naruto could think to use for her. Her suspected that was due in no small part to her heritage. And Sneeze were a silent sort until you got under their skin. I'm my grandfather again. Nicholas was certainly the old man out that front, likely in pact because he was holding Winter at the moment. Such a precious little girl she is. Naruto felt a sudden build-up of chakra and magic from her. He opened his mouth to warn Nicholas. Careful, I think she's about to... Achoo! Winter wrinkled her nose, then heaved a mighty sneeze. A storm of hoarfrost formed on the old man's face, coating both beard and brow alike in ice. Nor was he the only one affected. Ironwood had lingered a little too close and got a faceful of cold air for his curiosity. Pietro wasn't spared either, standing directly beside Nicholas as he was. The scientist's spectacles cracked clean in half beneath the sudden temperature plunge. Silence reigned supreme. Watts blinked into it. Oh my! Gira tilted his head. Is that quite normal? Tyrion hooted with laughter, clutching at his ribs. Remarkable! Ha! Nicholas barked a laugh of his own, drawing a rare giggle from the girl in his arms. Would you look at that? You're going to be a very special girl, my dear. Special, Willow wrestled Winter back out of his arms with a sigh. Yes, I suppose that's one way of putting it. Raven looked at Taiyang. I want one. Summer squeaked. Ray, where'd that come from? Crow choked on his booze and thumped his chest with fist. As for poor Taiyang, well, the results spoke for themselves now, didn't they? Huh? The baffled blonde brawler balked and backpedaled, looked at Raven like she'd grown a second head. We're not even dating. Isn't this a little too soon? Is it? Raven tilted her head. In the tribe, men appreciate women who speak with their mind. Are you going to bed me or not? Penny raised a hand. I don't understand. What does a bed have to do with any of this? Crow's choking turned to muffled cackling in the background, and Callie's ears flattened against her head. Please, there are children here. Ty's face went red. This ain't your tribe, and I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. She clicked her tongue then. Coward. Naruto then. Blood-red eyes swiveled to him. Would you give me a daughter? Now it was his turn to balk. Birdie, say what now? Do I have to spell it out? You, me, baby in 9 months. Is that hard to understand? Willow smiled, blue flames burning in her eyes. That's my fiance. You're trying to solicit. Maybe. Raven shrugged. You haven't married him yet, have you? When's the wedding date anyway? I see. You must truly have a death wish then. Willow handled Winter off to a startled Summer, much to the poor girl's chagrin, and climbed to her feet. Frost flicked from her fingertips, promising a blizzard. And do you want me to kick you around the yard that badly? Try me, Miss Maiden. Raven puffed out her chest. I've been training. Won't be enough. Young Cinder chimed at Willow's elbow. You're no match for a maiden. The elder Bronwyn scoffed. That's rich coming from you, short stack. Hey, I'm still growing. I withdrew him aside as the duo spat at one another, for once not to let him, grateful for the distraction. Thanks, Captain. Or should I say General? He waggled a blond brow at him as the older man towed him towards the window. I understand congratulations are in order. Thank you. James took the praise at his promotion with all the solidity he possessed, which was to say none. I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I want to thank you as well. Well, color him surprised. For what exactly? Do I really need to say it? He clasped both hands behind his back and sketched a shallow bow. Ever since you first found your way here, you've been a boon to Atlas. You've changed things. His gaze strayed back to the window and the reflection therein, watching Tyrion and Watts fuss over little Winter, the latter even being allowed to hold her by a watchful Willow. For the better, I had to hope. He grimaced. Not everything. Hazel still escaped while we were away. James pulled a grim face of his own, and he will be hunted down like the mad dog he is. You have my word. Then you're welcome. He could sense the unspoken question lingering between them. There's nothing else, isn't there? A few things, the headmaster winced, but I'm not sure how to phrase them without offending you. You don't have to walk on eggshells around me. His frown deepened. You say that now? James. Fine. He took a deep breath to steady himself, exhaled now, and his eyes came to life. How on earth, Remnant, did you manage to tame a bloody dragon? The question came quickly after that. How did you bring her back to Atlas in one piece? Never mind, hide her away in the wastes. His voice peaked further in distress. How are you even feeding her while going to lay eggs? He flung up his arms. Are we going to deal with more of her kind? Whoa, hey. Naruto held up his false arm to ward him off. In order, I'll say luck. Cinder begged me to keep the circs and loads of fish. As to the eggs, no idea. Hopefully. The Schnee family was powerful enough already with him at the helm. The idea of their descendants being dragon riders amused him to no end. Dragons were sturdy creatures, and Cyrax was growing quickly. She seemed admittedly fond of Cinder at that. Her wings were strong and her scales sturdy. She'd already proven her worth by beating back a grim attack on Mantle just the other day with her fire. Having her around might well go a long way to colonizing the rest of the frozen continent. It was a strangely pleasing thought. Matters for another time, he supposed. Anything else? The general took a deep breath to steady himself, and then, I know your daughter is a maiden. His blood turned to ice. No idea what you mean. And I intend to keep Cinder's secrets. Those steady, steely eyes met his as James finished. You've done good work for Remnant, both here and abroad. I owe you a debt. I would repay that with trust. He offered him a hand, the real one, not the facsimile of a steel. If you need anything, and I mean anything at all, you have but to ask. Now to glance down, frowned at it. You sure about this? James didn't budge. We both want the same thing, peace on Remnant, for ourselves and those we hold dear. On that, they agreed. He reached out the rest of the way and clamped his hand. James squeezed his fingers briskly, an effort he returned tenfold. Thanks. Now I should probably get back to it before Raven ticks off someone else. A hand clamps down on his shoulder before he could leave. Naruto? Don't judge Miss Bronwyn so harshly. And James casted a bemused look over his shoulder, watching a now anxious Raven cradle Winter in her arms, while a sullen Cinder looked on. He didn't miss the long look she gave his daughter, nor did James. From what little Ospen told me of her, she and Crow suffered from a rather stunted upbringing before they came to Beacon. He's adapted rather well, but as you can see, she's still struggling, more than she cares to admit. In the tribe, the rule of strong applied. She clings to such things even now, as you can see. That was putting it mildly. Him and Raven having a child together, preposterous, wasn't it? And then she would leave me out of it. Try and lose to her then? James granted him a rare grin with wry grin. That'll get her out of your hair. Yeah, no. He shook his head. I'd sooner chop off my other arm than throw a fight. Besides, she'll never let me live it down. He heard Willow spit something acerbic at Raven, who snapped back. Well, he could think of one way to solve this. So this was what it felt like to have a younger sibling. Cinder smiled softly as she watched the spectacle unfold before her. Not an unpleasant feeling. To think she'd once dreaded this, feared it, hated it. What a fool she'd been. Everyone seemed quite taken with baby Winter. Even Sienna and Roman were cooing over her. As well as they should be. And she would teach Winter to be a true Schnee, even if she hadn't had a chance to hold her yet. Cinder, Father barked at her suddenly. Come here and hold your sister, your family. Panic, pride, more panic. She froze, torn between the former and the latter. Sienna nudged her in with an elbow. When did that work? When that didn't work, Roman shoved her forward. Ah, wait, I'm not ready. Cinder stumbled, righting herself, and quickly suddenly found herself holding the little tight. I'm not. Too late. Winter stared up at her with round eyes. Cinder stared back. In that instant, a bond was formed. She's so small. Family, huh? Cinder rather liked that. Yes, indeed. She liked it very much. Previews. Willow ushered him into the room, and Summer was sitting on the bed. Naruto stiffened. What? We need to talk. The Schnee nudged him forward. Just the three of us. Ah, sweet training. What fun, what fun. Don't break them, Tyrion. Again. Winter climbed to her feet. Cinder awaited her, golden eyes shining with flames. Roman knelt to retrieve his hat, dusted it off, and brandished his cane at her. Pick up your sword. We're not done yet, little sister. And who are you? The little girl blinked up at him. She said not a word. My queen, an empire toppled by its enemies can rise again. A finger tapped the table, further emphasizing his point. But one which crumbles from within, that's dead. Forever. Dark red eyes considered him for a long moment. What do you propose, Merlot? That we destroy the Schnee from within. Hazel rumbled his agreement. She looked to the remaining seats and the silent figures within. And what say you two? We still haven't tracked down that semblance booster yet. Evidently, it's cropped up in Mistral now. Lovely. You have no idea what you've unleashed. There are things far worse than death. I do not take assassins from insects. Insect. I'm the strongest huntress in a generation. A beetle is still an insect no matter how loud it might scream. Now to stop. This isn't you. This isn't who you want to be. They need to face justice. Rationally, yes, but he wasn't feeling very rational right now. They came for my family. This is justice. He squeezed their neck harder. Crack. What's got into you, Winter? And she wouldn't look at him. She mustn't. She refused. I heard what you said to Mother. Father arched an eyebrow at her, and in the absence of his words, a child though she was, she found a strength to consider. You think I'm weak because I'm not like you and Mother, like Cinder and Sienna, or even Roman? She stomped a foot and looked down, unwilling to meet his eyes. I know I was never what you wanted, but I thought after all this time, maybe things were different. His story gaze drooled into her. When did you get the impression I didn't want you? You don't know everything, kiddo. No. She sniffled, but at least I know the truth. The truth, huh? She thumped his chin. All right. A quick shove pushed his chair out from behind his desk. You want the truth? Come here. A metal hand patted his knees. I'd wanted to wait another 3 years, but I suppose now is as good a time as any. Her legs betrayed her, and she found herself climbing into his lap. At the end of the day, he was still her father, and she was only 5. She tilted her head up to get a better look at him. As such, she saw the moment his sapphire eyes snapped into scarlet. Winter gasped despite her best efforts. What did you do? Is that a semblance or... Nope. I'm a jerky girl. And she watched the golden light dance across his face as he spoke, burning bright. From another world, far from here. When I first met your mother, I chose to be who I am now, to be more than a fighter, but a leader as well. But the truth is, I'm far from perfect. He held up his false arm for her to see. I killed my best friend. It wasn't something I wanted to do. That's how I got this arm. Even after that, I destroyed many who were deserving, and many who were not. That still doesn't explain why you think I'm weak. You think you're weak, Cinder. No. He shook his head, settling his pale hair swaying. You're strong. The only other person on this planet with chakra besides me. Hell, you're probably going to even be stronger than me once you grow up. Which is why you must be better. I don't want to tell you any of this until you were ready. Why not tell me? Why not tell me all this before? Because it could get to your head. Because strength without experience can create a lifetime of tragedy if you're not careful. I also wanted you to have a normal childhood. She scowled at him. How's anything about my life even remotely normal? He granted her a small smile. Fair enough. Winter wasn't cut out to be a big sister. Truly, she felt she wasn't. She'd been born broken. She only knew how to fight and kill. That was why she seldom spoke, why she shunned others. It was precisely why she was hesitating now, as the mule of a newborn infant filled the hospital room. Oh, stop that. Come here and hold your baby sister. Wives won't bite. End of chapter 27.